Greetings, duelist, and welcome to another video. So today we got revealed a few new cards from Duelist Alliance, and those cards are related to the Super Quant. So before the reveal of these cards, I wasn't too enthusiastic with Duelist Alliance as a set. That's why you haven't seen any videos from me involving that particular set in general. But Super Quant is a deck I do hold dear to my heart because it is one of those archetypes that really strengthened my idea for creativity as a duelist. This is an example of a list that I played back in the day when the Super Quants first got revealed in Wing Raiders. And as you can see, there's a real big pile of different cards in here. You see danger cards, you see Predaplant, you see like Perform Mages, you see Brilliant Fusion. Like, back in the day, we didn't have a lot of pile decks or a lot of like those based type decks that you were used to being called back then. So seeing an idea like this spawn out and actually do very well and be successful, it was something that was really cool to me. Fast forward to today, Super Quants haven't done a lot. Like, with Brilliant Fusion banned, Emergency Teleport eventually got limited. The danger cards also got limited. We just lost a lot of tools that made the Super Quantum strategy very viable. Over time, we've gotten a couple of those extender cards back into the game, and we've gotten new extenders as well. Like, these are example of other extenders that we now got in the game. We still have a few of the old ones around, but with so many new tools and new strategies, it was only a matter of time until Super Quantums became viable as a strategy again. And now these two cards, well, three rather, are represented and shown, and kind of gives you a new identity. So before I talk about the new Super Quantums, I guess we should talk about what is Super Quantum and how did this strategy spawn out. Super Quantum is an XYZ strategy that involves these 5 monsters that are on the board. The idea of the deck is to use the Super Quantum mech ship to quick XYZ into all of them, pretty much like Zodiac monsters. But you have to discard one card in order to do that. And every Quantum XYZ gets a quick effect depending on what layer is given to any XYZ. The green XYZ is a Book of Moon. The blue one is an MST. The Magna Liger, which is the red one, pops a monster. And yeah, if they have their respective colors, they all get a quick effect. And the real kicker of the deck is with this guy right here, the Super Mech King Great Magnus. Great Magnus is a monster that gains effects due to its materials. And if this monster gets all these materials, it's really, really, really hard to out. Like, being unaffected by your opponent, like by every card effect on a 3600 monster that can quick detach to spin a card back is already a big deal. But adding to that, you can make it so your opponent cannot add cards from the deck. Like, this shuts down a lot of decks right now. Like, even Ryziel cannot beat this card if this card hits the board. So, how do we get to that Great Magnus? the Magna Carrier has like the effect of using 3 of the XYZs and just make the Queen Great Magnus with all of them, attaching all to themselves. That's where the deck creativity comes in. Like, the idea of the deck is just to spit out a bunch of monsters and XYZ into all of these monsters and just make the Great Magnus. As you can see, some extenders are level 3, some are level 4, some are level 7. And yeah, that pretty much helps with the strategy. Fast forward to today, what can we do with some of these new cards? As much as I want to talk about Super Quantums entirely and everything that they got in their arsenal from back then until now, I think that will make this video just as lengthy as like any other video I can provide with this deck. So before I show you what all the new cards do for this deck and what strategy is possible, I guess I should talk about like the game plan of the deck. The game plan is to get to all these layers and just keep XYZing and keep link summoning with all of them. I guess the best way to show you is by showing you a combo. So this is Super Quantum Blue layer. This card is basically Stratos. This adds any other Super Quantum card. So we're going to summon it. And we're going to talk about this card later on. We're not going to talk about it right now. What we're going to talk about is about this one. Say hello to Super Quantum Fairy Zayden. Zayden reads, if this card is in your hand and you control a Super Quantum monster, you can special summon this card. Then you can make its level equal to 1 Super Quantum monster you control. So essentially, this is just an extender, but there's more. Tribute this card and send 1 Super Quantum card from your deck to the graveyard, except a dark monster. Special summon 1 Super Quantum monster from your deck, except Zayden. So we're going to special Zayden because we control a Super Quant. Zayden is now level 3. We're going to use Zayden's effect, tribute it, send Alpha Spike. This can be any Super Quant. If you send green layer, this becomes a draw. If you send red layer, this becomes a reborn. If you send white layer, this becomes a searcher for Alphen. If you send blue layer, it can return 3 cards. And if you send black layer, which is a new one, it can add you a quantum spell. At the moment, we're just going to send the Alpha Spike, and we'll talk about Spike in a moment. And now we're going to summon the Fairy Alphen. So Alpha Spike is a really cool card. Essentially, this is a board wipe if you control 3 Super Quants. But the effect that we care about is this one right here. You can banish this card and 1 Super Quantum Fairy Alphen, and then just summon the Magna Carrier from your deck. I'm going to mis-sequence this combo. I'm going to be banishing this first, but pretend the Alphen is already in the graveyard. You'll understand why later on. So we're going to activate the Alphen, and the Alphen reveals 3 Super Quant monsters. We already revealed red layer, we're going to reveal black layer, and we're going to reveal white layer. One of them gets randomly summoned, and the Alphen gets tributed, and the other 2 go to the graveyard. So this is essentially painful choice, but for Super Quant. The white layer gets summoned, and the other 2 go to the graveyard. Depending on which layer gets summoned, the combo kind of changes. Like, if the black layer gets summoned, you can quick XYZ, this will add you Alphen, and this will reborn. The sequence that we have here right now, layer is going to foolish a Super Quant. Black layer is going to reborn, well, I mean, it's going to add us a spell. and red layer is going to reborn. So essentially what's going to happen is those three effects happen. We're going to special Zayden, we're going to add the super quantum spell, and we're going to dump the green layer. Green layer can discard and draw, or we could send another white layer, because white layer does not restrict sending itself, and that can add you Alphan, and Alphan becomes tribute fodder for the Magna Carrier. Now what we're going to do is going to link summon all these cards away, and we're going to link summon into the Mech King Blaster Magna. This card was not available back then when we made this deck, when this deck was made. So let's read over it. It's fairly generic. It needs at least one Super Quant monster. Each time a Super Quant XYZ monster is summoned to a zone this card points to, you draw one card. This mitigates the condition of Magna Carrier, because you have to discard a card for Magna Carrier. If a face-up XYZ monster card points to destroy a battle or card effect, you can special summon one Super Quant monster from your deck with other attributes. After that, we're going to activate number 19 layer invasion interference jet black super quantum. Try saying that 3 times. So this card reads, you can only use each effect once per turn. You're going to activate one of the following effects. First effect is change the battle position of a monster. Second effect, you're going to special summon a super. If you control a super quantum, you can special summon another one. And the third one is you can set a quantum trap from your deck. So if you have multiples of this card, you can do all of their effects. The effect that we're doing here, right here, is the one to summon from the deck. And we're going to summon Black Layer. And now with Black Layer's effect, we're going to quick XYZ. And you can quick XYZ into anything. And what's gonna happen is whatever you XYZ into is going to attach another monster as material. And since we have the green one in the graveyard, we can give the quick effect to the green one. Essentially, you can do this with all the colors, but the green one is the best one because it's the one that can just set a monster. You can essentially do red one to pop a card, blue one to pop a spell trap, white one in order to negate a monster. But yeah, this is all one card combo involving the blue layer. And this is just to show you that all these combos have different rotations. You can essentially do these combos in a different variations, and it will have definitely different results. Just a reminder, you have to banish off a 2-band for the Magna Carrier, but the sequence won't matter too much. Right here, we have 2 quick effects and 1 foolish, and this was all one card. This was all just a 1-card combo. Imagine what we could do with all the other extenders. Here's an example of a hand where you can do everything. So let's see if you can keep up. What did we learn about super quants? If you haven't kept up, I'll put you up to speed. Essentially, we opened a hand where you can summon all XYZs, and the card economy that we lost, we keep getting it back with the Blaster Magna. Adding to that, we're going to now use the Magna Carrier, and the Magna Carrier special effect is going to quick XYZ with all these super quants and make the green the Mech King Great Magnus. So yeah, this is pretty much what I wanted to show you. I know this deck is a little bit complex. To the people that don't know what Super Quant does or how they function, this is going to be a science experiment. You're probably going to see the deck reports in the future of me testing this deck. For the people who do have tested Super Quants, well, you have a seal of approval now that these cards are in the game. This is a very scary deck. Essentially, we may be going back to the old days of Super Quants and just having like a super consistent way to kick Madness. But yeah, that's it from me. I hope you found this informative to your liking and understanding. More videos coming soon. Keep practicing and keep dueling.